Indian Home Minister Amit Shah, speaking at Narendra Mohan Memorial Lecture, has differentiated between the infiltrators and refugees. In fact, he is of the opinion that the immigrants into India have to be classified into infiltrators and refugees. Refugees are the people who have come into India from regions like Pakistan, Bangladesh and Afghanistan, primarily because of religious persecution. If they escaped to India and came into India, then they have to be given some due regard and they should be considered as refugees. And even the Citizenship Amendment Act of 2019 also provides a similar fast-track citizenship to the people who in fact came to India because of religious persecution from the aforementioned three nations. But the problem is with the people who are considered to be infiltrators. When it comes to infiltrators, these are the people who primarily come into India for the sake of economic opportunities or for the sake of economic reasons. If they come into India, they should be considered as infiltrators. And the Indian government approach according to the Home Minister is we should detect, delete and deport the infiltrators from India. This is the approach we need to take up in order to identify them, and along with that detect them. Detection is identification, deletion is removing all kind of identifications for them like voter list, Aadhaar card. Then thereafter deporting them to their countries of origin is the approach that we need to take, is what he is stating. But here the main problem is, even he is claiming that even in the electoral roll across many states in India, there are many infiltrators who are in fact registered as voters, and the election commission, by conducting voter correction exercises, what it is essentially doing is it is removing all these kind of infiltrators from the voter list. But the main issue here is the identification is the biggest problem. And in the process of identification, there might be targeting of some particular communities as illegal immigrants or infiltrators. That is one of the major issues that needs to be corrected. Then the second important problem is India's approach of this discrimination between infiltrator and refugee doesn't sit well with the UN Convention on Refugees, even though we are not a signatory to it, but we need to be mindful of the global practices with respect to the same. So these are the two important caveats, and if these two things are handled well, then definitely, so India is not a country for everyone. So we need to identify the people who are infiltrators and expel them back to the countries of their origin. Thank you. The NCRB data, National Crime Records Bureau data for the year 2023, after a delay of nearly 1 year, has finally been released. And in fact, the data shows some peculiar trends. First and foremost, the number of murders and killings in India have come down substantially. In fact, if you compare it to the previous statistics, there is a decrease of nearly 2.8% murder cases across the country. But at the same time, one more worrisome trend is there is an increase of nearly 31.2% in cyber crimes in India. This is a very, very concerning trend, primarily because we are transitioning towards a digital world and most of our financial transactions are happening on digital platforms, and nearly 31.2% increase in cyber crimes, maybe because of the digital arrest scams, because of numerous hacking scams, one or the other way, nearly 31.2% rise in cyber crimes has occurred. We need to be mindful about it, primarily because most of our police agencies are not well trained in order to handle the cyber crimes. Then along with that, the third disturbing trend is there has been an increase of crimes against scheduled tribes by 28.8%. This is a very, very disturbing trend, primarily because, so the scheduled tribe violence or violence against scheduled tribe has been registered highest in the state of Manipur. So because of this reason, there has been a substantial jump, and even in states of central India like Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand, where there is significant tribal population, there were substantial number of crimes against tribes, so which needs to be taken proper care of. Then over and above this, the third important thing that we need to understand is even, so the child abuse cases have increased a lot. Nearly 9.2% of rise in the child abuse cases have been identified. But most of these cases, so in fact we know that because of wrongful cases under POCSO, these kind of cases are getting registered. But definitely there is a need for more awareness about child rights and also about the POCSO Act in order to, so in fact reduce the number of cases in the said scenario. But there has been a 9.2% increase. Then apart from that, there is also one more increase on crimes registered against women or crimes conducted against women, there has been a 0.4% increase, but very concerningly, nearly 14.9% jump has been seen in the cases of domestic violence too. So these are the important statistics and developments in the NCRB data of 2023. So some things needs to be appreciated, but the other things are a cause of concern for us. Thank you. The Savalkote project, the run-of-the-river hydroelectric power project on the Chenab River, has finally got the approval of Ministry of Environment's Apex Committee. This is, in fact, a path-breaking hydroelectric power project, which is going to be a run-of-the-river project without storing any water. In fact, this project is being constructed in Jammu and Kashmir and is going to use the west-flowing river to Pakistan. In fact, we know that already India has put the Indus Water Treaty in abeyance. It means that we are not going to respect the Indus Water Treaty. But even though we are not going to respect the Indus Water Treaty, this project is not going to cause any concern for Pakistan, primarily because it is going to be a run-of-the-river project. But the project cost is nearly somewhere around some 31,380 crores. And along with that, it has the capability of generating nearly 8,000 million units annually, substantially increasing the power production in Jammu and Kashmir. But the main problem with this project is a substantial amount of forest is being diverted in order to construct this project, and the Ministry of Environment, declaring the project to be a project of national importance, has sidestepped from the environmental obligations that have to be performed before clearing the forest. And along with that, there also has been a sidestepping of two important documents which have to be conducted which have to be submitted before construction of a project. That is, one is cumulative impact assessment has been not done, then carrying capacity studies also not have been done. And we know that Himalayas are a highly ecologically sensitive region, but our spree of constructing projects in this highly seismically active region is a cause of concern. But definitely our energy security is going to be ensured. And along with that, so we need not intimate it to Pakistan too, primarily because Indus Water Treaty is in abeyance, but we are going to construct the project because the Environmental Ministry has provided a clearance to us. Earlier, the project was put under the Jammu and Kashmir government, but later it has been shifted to the central government. The central government through National Hydroelectric Power Corporation is constructing the Savalkot project. Thank you. In an open acknowledgement to the Taliban rule in Afghanistan, what the Indian government is going to do is, it is going to convert its technical mission in Kabul to a full-fledged embassy. In fact, the Ministry of External Affairs, 𝐃𝐨𝐼𝐧𝐥𝐨𝐚𝐝, has proclaimed that we are going to convert it into a full-fledged embassy. In fact, this statement was made in connection to the visit of Afghanistan's Taliban foreign minister by the name of Amir Khan Muttaqi to India. In fact, he has been provided full diplomatic honors, and after that, 𝐃𝐨𝐼𝐧𝐥𝐨, while speaking to him, talked about how the regional stability is an important factor for India, and along with that, any peace process and government which is Afghan owned and Afghan led is acceptable to India. And at the same time, so very peculiarly, this Afghan foreign minister Amir Khan Muttaqi, he did not permit any female journalists in order to attend his session on the India-Afghanistan relations. So this is a very peculiar of the foreign minister, and it also shows his very peculiar mindset. Then along with that, there was also a conflict between the previous embassy staff of Afghanistan who belonged to the previous establishment and so the staff of the Amir Khan Muttaqi, primarily with respect to hoisting of a flag, as the Taliban have changed the flag of Afghanistan after coming to power. So then over and above this, he also very clearly clarified that he will not permit Afghanistan to become any center of terrorism, but he is himself a representation of Taliban, which is a designated global terror organization today, but he is stating that he will not permit it to become the base for any other terrorist organization. And he also assured India that Lashkar-e-Toiba and other terrorist groups have been expelled from Afghanistan, and Afghanistan is cracking down on even the drug trade, which is a very important source of income for Taliban earlier, but now he's saying that there have been multiple steps taken to crack down on the drug trade too. And when the Indian journalist asked him a question with respect to the women rights in Afghanistan, very peculiarly said that if the Afghan women have a problem, they would have protested. Then along with that, he said that this is a Western media's perception of Afghanistan, but everything is fine in Afghanistan and women's rights are being respected. Okay, but it is very, very peculiar. Okay, but we have to accept the reality of Indian neighborhood. And he also has mentioned that the Pakistan or India-Afghanistan trade should be again re-permitted through Pakistan is one more statement that he made, and we have to accept the reality. And Indian government has taken the right step in taking forward the recognition of Afghanistan's new Taliban government. Thank you.